The views and opinions expressed on Unlock Your Wealth Radio are those of the host, guests, and callers only and are not necessarily the views of Unlock Your Wealth Radio, Heather Wagenhals, or Success Publishing International.
More willpower than a barefoot woman at a shoe sale. Able to stretch a single paycheck for an entire month. Makes money concepts easier than third grade math. Introducing your purveyor of prosperity, Heather Wagenhals.
Work all day, stress all night. Take your mind off your money and focus on your life. Money don't matter or the stuff it bought. It's the way you think, not what you've got, yeah.
Unlock Your Wealth Radio starts now. It's your money mind right.
Hi, I'm Michael Terry. Here is a special presentation of Heather guest appearing on Lisa Platt's Business Network Made Simple teleseries. Enjoy and sign up for the 7 Selling Secrets one-day intensive Saturday, April 9th. Go to 7sellingsecrets.com for details.
Hello, and welcome to the Notable Networking teleseries. I'm Lisa Platt, your purposeful networking coach with Business Networking Made Simple. I'm delighted to have you join us today. Welcome to the call. The Notable Networking teleseries was designed to give tips and tidbits on business networking. Each month, I interview networking rock stars. We talk about what works and what doesn't. In the dozen or so interviews I've conducted, there's one underlying theme. Networking is about the other person. It's not about me. Showing interest, asking questions, taking a moment to get to know that person is key, vital to building a relationship with them. Friendships or trust need to be established, or a foundation needs to be built in order to do business. Professionals who understand this are successful in using networking to grow their business. Learning how to navigate the maze of business relationship building can be daunting and sometimes overwhelming. Having a coach can help. A coach is someone who has been there, done that, understands the situation, and will use their expertise to help you get clarity and achieve results more quickly. I'm thrilled to welcome you to today's call. Today, we're going to talk about how to connect your networking to the sales process. Toward the end, we'll take a quick break so I can tell you about something exciting. Then we'll come back and conclude our conversation. I am very excited to introduce today's guest. I first met our guest many moons ago at a networking lunch. I had a personal services company and was helping with registration. She was a mortgage broker, and I will always be grateful for her willingness to talk to shy little me. For the past 20 years, our guest has worked to empower others with her special blend of personal finance and wealth-building techniques. She's a rock star networker, a sales training expert, executive producer, and show host of Unlock Your Wealth Radio. I am thrilled to welcome Heather Wagenhals to the Notable Networking teleseries and learn about her biology-based approach to the selling strategy and signature secret tools of ethical persuasion. Heather, welcome to our call, and thank you for joining us today.
Well, thanks so much for having me on.
You're very welcome.
It was funny how you said that I talked to shy little you, because my perception of who you were was totally not shy. You knew everybody. You were greeting them with a warm smile and an extended handshake and checking people in or handing them their badges or whatever you were doing. You did it with such finesse that I would have never guessed you were a shy girl.
I was, and my way of working around it was following the script of doing what you just said. And it comes from
you were great.
Career of retail management.
Well, you were great at it. You were certainly an inspiration to me and helped me get into the networking fold, because I had tons of sales training and I was facilitating sales training, but I kind of got thrust into networking by my boss. And you should go to this group. It's called Risk and go network. And I didn't even know what it meant. And I'm like, okay, so now I'm around a bunch of people I have no idea who they are. And I have no idea why I'm here either. But supposedly it's supposed to help my business. I remember how green I was. I think it was my late 20s. That's, kind of divulges how long we've known each other.
I came many moons ago because I'm just math challenged, and I admit that. So, Heather, anyhow, we're so happy to have you here today. And would you take a moment to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. So, as a native Phoenician, I was born and raised here in Arizona, and I grew up really poor. And I knew that since I was trying poverty, being born into it, that it totally wasn't right for me. And one of the things that inspired me to achieve was that I started a business at 11 years old, and it was kind of my lawn mowing, housekeeping, landscaping service. I was, mowing lawns and babysitting and doing every little odd job. And I had a little ad in the newspaper that got me all of my customers. And I was working for all these people that their homes were so much nicer, and everything had a place, and they had lots of things, and they were doing things, and they weren't complaining about, no, you can't have that because it costs money, or no, you can't go there because we don't have the money to pay for it, or no, you can't do this. And so I knew that I wanted to achieve, and so I just became this real extrovert, and because I didn't want to be at home, because home stunk, in my opinion, so I always was out trying to do things and make things happen, and I just kind of carried that forward into my business life. And one company I worked for sent me to a sales training seminar, and I'm like, what's this? What do I need this for? Do you want to buy my stuff or you don't, right? And it wasn't quite the case. There is actually a structure and a process to selling people, especially stuff, items, services, and products that have big price tags. And so the way I became good and overcame poverty was to be good at sales, and I had to really learn. And so after that first seminar, I'm like, wow. And then I saw there were other seminars for folks. And so I just kept taking and learning and adding a new tool to my toolbox each and every time. And what brought me here today is that once I got to a point in sales where I was generating so many sales that I had to have other folks help me when I was in the mortgage business, that I started having my own team. And then, I didn't like what was happening in the mortgage industry, at the turn of the century when, interest rates dropped and people weren't doing the right thing. And I was busy training real estate professionals on how to work with mortgage people. And I started looking at the paycheck size, and I said, would I rather have 3% of the purchase price or 1% of the loan amount? And so the math worked out. That was simple math. You'd like that. And so I said, okay, so I need to jump the fence. And so, again, once I started managing enough transactions on my own that I started having people for me, I became my own broker. And a lot of those folks never were exposed to sales training. So that's why I had to kind of teach them what they needed to know, because what you learn in real estate school to get a license is to how to do your job by the law, but it doesn't tell you how to sell real estate to another person. And so I created this program that really looked at a lot of different things that people didn't look at through a selling process that is very transformative. Because if you think about it, real estate is the single most important financial decision somebody makes in their life. So because it's the biggest financial commitment, and it's usually their largest asset. So you can't take that lightly. It's not like, all right, I'm going down to get a new skateboard. Do I want the red one or the green one?
So very true. So that's a wonderful story, and I love how you were just motivated, that you went out there, you figured out what you wanted, and you figured out how to get there. So how long have you been in the community building relationships, creating awareness for what you do?
Well, as a sales trainer myself, I started training in my late 20s, so almost 20 years I've been training people to sell since I first started training. What's unique about where I am today is with all of the great brain research, and I do a money management radio show because it kind of I fell into that niche. and it transcends money management to everything management, whether it's weight management, sales management, you name it, is with all the science and technology we have out there to help us sell, and all these communication devices and email and connecting in ways that we never could before, everything goes back to biology. And that's the one thing that I've learned with a lot of the brain research that I've been doing, and that's kind of where my approach differs today, in the sense that I've taken the culmination of my knowledge of the selling process and got to a point here in the last 5 years, maybe 10, where brain research has really evolved, and being able to predict behavior and being able to ethically persuade people has really come about. And so I've really gotten kind of my heels dug in over the last 10 years, but I've been doing it about 20.
Okay, sounds great. So would you say it was training realtors what they needed to know to sell a home is what inspired you to become a sales training expert, or was there anything else to that?
Well, I think that, just in the quest for being better myself, my personal motto is I want to be better tomorrow than I am today, and I want to be better in every way. So that's personally, that's spiritually, that's, health-wise, health and wellness-wise, as well as, career-wise, socially, financially. I want everything to be better. And in order for me to make it better, I got to keep working on myself. And so in my pursuit or quest for working on myself, that's what helped me become a better sales trainer, because now I could test out these techniques on my students. And then once I was able to get feedback that it was working, I was able to incorporate that into my training. And so my training didn't evolve deliberately. It just evolved as I evolved.
That makes a lot of sense. And that's honestly what happens to a lot of people as they start following their passion and doing things that excite them. They just grow with it, and they just evolve in the way that you just explained. So thank you so much for sharing that. So today, I'm excited to talk about how to connect one's marketing to sales. I work with people and teach them the importance of relationship building, that networking in and of itself is not selling. It's part of the marketing process. Some might say it's part of the very, very beginning of the sales funnel, but it's not selling. It's about getting to know people and building relationships. So I'm looking forward to talking about the next steps. So Heather, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, but I'm going to roll it into one big question, because I think what you would say about the second part of this will help answer the first. So just please bear with me. So let's talk about me. Let's talk about my imaginary friend, and we're going to call her Mary. Mary's been successful with her networking. She's nurtured relationships, and she's asked for and scheduled the meeting. But she's not really sure what's next. So now what? What happens? Is there anything special Mary should be aware of, or should not do? And that's the first part. And then the second part of the question is, but you just talked about this a little bit, about the research you've done on the brain and your biology-based approach to the selling strategy. What is that, and can it help Mary?
It absolutely can. Yeah, no, it's a great two-part question. So my biology-based approach, which I call the 7 selling secrets, can absolutely help Mary. So when we want to talk about what should she or should she not do, I'll give you the first secret in the 7 selling secrets. And this will kind of explain the biological approach. And she's already used it. If she has cultivated a relationship that's to the point where she can make an offer, that she's already been using these things. And so there's no reason for her to be scared about switching gears from cultivating the relationship and meeting and networking with the person to selling the person. So this is just the next evolutionary step. So as we talk about what the first secret is, it's to know your burden, okay? And to know your burden,
Do
like
you
the
or
weight
do
or
you?
load that you're going to carry it? Yes.
Perfect. Okay.
Okay. And so what we need to know is that